everyone, welcome to my channel Bobbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be a festive reading vlog. So it is a random evening midweek and I've decided to start a reading vlog because I want to feel festive and I feel like I've got a few festive things coming up and I want to share that with you, and I want to be more inspired to pick up books because I've been in a massive reading slump recently. So I'm hoping that by doing this vlog it will hold me accountable and it will inspire me to read and get excited about books. So yes, welcome to the video. I am shortly going to head out because we're meeting friends to go to this Christmas lights show thing that's going on in a place called Sandringham. So we're going to go and meet our friends there shortly, but I just wanted to start this video, introduce this vlog and talk to you briefly about my reading plans. So I will be starting a new book today. I'm not entirely sure what book I'm going to read, but it's probably going to be between these three. So I'm either going to read How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamastu because I have borrowed this one from my friend, so I need to read it soon so that I can obviously give it back to them. This is a sci-fi and I think it's going to be great for this time of year because it's actually set in the Arctic Circle. So it says on the inside, Dr. Cliff Miratio arrives in the Arctic Circle to continue his recently deceased daughter's research, only to discover a virus newly unearthed from melting permafrost. The plague unleashed reshapes life on Earth for generations, yet even while struggling to counter this destructive force, humanity stubbornly persists in myriad moving and ever inventive ways. So yeah, it's obviously a sci-fi about this new plague that is unleashed and it's set in the Arctic. I've heard this is a literary sci-fi and has some heavy themes in it, so I feel like I'm gonna have to be in the right headspace for this one, but that is definitely an option. But I'm also kind of craving horror, so these are my two wintry horrors that I'm hoping to read this season. So we've got Near the Bone by Christina Henry, which I believe is a kind of folkloric horror set in the mountains. And we've also got The Whistling by Rebecca Netley, which is a kind of gothic haunted house type story. So depending on what mood I'm in, I'm probably going to read one of these books next. I think what I'll do is probably read like the first chapter of each and then decide which one grabs my attention. But I'll let you know which I decide to go for when I am back. But for now, let's go and enjoy some Christmas lights. Hey everyone, so it's a little bit later and I thought I would update you on my reading. So the book that I decided to go for in the end was Near the Bone by Christina Henry, and I'm so glad that I picked this one up. I literally didn't even read any of the other books because as soon as I started this one I was like, right, I'm in. It hooked me right from the beginning and I smashed through the first 100 pages in one sitting, and then I read the next like 40 or so pages in the next sitting. So it's so quick and easy to read. I honestly feel like I could read this all in one go if I had the time to do that, but unfortunately obviously I've got work and stuff, so I haven't been able to just sit and read constantly, but this is so fun. It reads like a thriller and it's snowy, it's set on a mountaintop, and we follow our main character Matty, who lives with her husband, and it opens with her finding this body of a fox which seems to have been mauled and killed by some kind of bear, but the tracks around the fox are unlike anything Matty's ever seen before. They're much bigger than a normal bear's footprint, so it seems like there's some kind of creature in the forest. And we quickly find out that Matty is living with her husband in this remote cabin up on the mountain, and it's very obvious that she is in an incredibly abusive relationship. Massive trigger warnings in here for physical and emotional abuse, and he's a really awful man. And what's really interesting is that our main character keeps getting these flashbacks, like she keeps getting these memories coming to her of a time before she lived on this mountaintop. And this book is set in modern day, but the way that Matty and her husband live is very old-fashioned. They hunt for their food, she like hand makes clothes and things, but then every now and then she'll get these memories of things like televisions or of like a CD player, and when she gets these memories, her husband obviously gaslights her and says that it's all just fanciful, it's all made up in her head, but she can't let go of these kind of memories, and particularly this memory of this woman called Heather. And so we're slowly drip fed kind of bits of information about her past, and we're kind of piecing together how she ended up in this cabin with her husband, who's much older than her and is incredibly abusive. Like, what's the deal there? Whilst we're also piecing together this kind of mystery about this creature that seems to be living in the forest. And basically Matty and her husband William follow these tracks to try and find what this creature is. And to make matters even more complicated, they run into a couple of travellers. So there's 3 travellers who are also investigating this area, but that is not good news for our main character, because if she speaks to any other person, particularly any other man, then her husband gets incredibly defensive, incredibly paranoid, and will take it out on her. So there's lots going on in here. It's so fast paced, reads like a thriller, and yeah, I'm just really intrigued and I want to know what's going on. And it's so perfect for winter because it's obviously set in the mountains with lots of snow, and yeah, it's been a fun time. So I've been absolutely racing through this one and can't wait to get back to it. And yeah, that's my update so far. I did also get a book in the mail, so I'm just gonna go grab that so we can unbox it together. Hang on. Okay, so here is the book from Amazon. I know what this is, and I entirely blame Lauren from the channel Happy Haunts Library. Love her channel, you should definitely go and check her out if you like all the spooky reads. But I saw her talking about this book on one of her recent videos. So this is The Fright Before Christmas, written by Jeff Belanger. And it's just such a stunning book, and it's all about the folklore that surrounds this time of year. So the folklore about winter, about Christmas before it became Christmas, about Yuletide, all those sorts of things, and kind of like the dark origins of Christmas really. And that just really intrigues me. It's also just a stunning little book. This would make a really lovely gift actually for someone. And it also has like illustrations and things throughout, so I wanted to get the actual physical copy because it just seems like it's going to be a really aesthetic and just lovely book to own and to read. So yeah, I'm so excited for this one, and I probably will pick this one up very soon because I am feeling festive and wanting to read all of the festive things, but also wanting it to not let go of my creepy books. And yeah, this is a non-fiction and I'm very excited for it. So yes, that's my little bookish update. Anyway, I am on my lunch break, so I'm going to go back to work, sign on to my laptop, work for the rest of the day. And then I think I'm just going to have a cozy evening tonight. I might do some pottery. I want to make some gifts for friends and family. So I've got a pottery kit, so I might have a little go at doing some crafts, which is going to be really fun. But yes, I will keep you updated with my reading and speak to you later.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah.
Hey everyone, so it's the next day and I wanted to just give you a bit of a reading update because I have been working my way through Near the Bone and I'm quite near the end now. I'm up to page 278, so I think I've got just under 100 pages left, which is very exciting. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this one. It's definitely very addictive in the way that it's written. It's so easy to fly through the pages, it's very compelling, it's very gripping, but it hasn't been what I've expected it to be. It definitely reads much more like a thriller than a horror, I would say, and the focus is much more on our main character and her abusive relationship rather than on the creature that's stalking them in the forest. And I was just quite surprised by that. I thought it was going to be much more of a monster horror, or I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more from this. I really wanted it to go there, and we haven't really had that many intense gory scenes. A lot of the fear and a lot of the tension comes from our main character's situation and her essentially trying to escape from this abusive relationship. And don't get me wrong, that has kept me hooked, but it just hasn't been quite what I've expected. And I think because I've read quite a lot of horror recently, I've just been wanting it to just go that extra step and to just be a little bit more intense and more shocking than it has been. But I'm really hoping that our author is saving that until the very end and we're going to have a really nice explosive ending and we're going to get all of that horror at the end, but we'll see. I'm excited to see how she wraps up the story. But yeah, it's very addictive. I quite like our main character. I will say I'm not fussed on some of the side characters. There's a character in particular called CP who is just very irritating and says some really stupid things and doesn't think before they open their mouth, and it's just incredibly irritating, and I think that's deliberate, but yeah, that's kind of been annoying me. But aside from that, I've been having a fun time with this one. I would say it's an easy breeze to get through. Obviously massive trigger warnings for abuse in here. Please check that out before you go into this one because it doesn't shy away from that side of things. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it ends. I think it's going to make it or break it for me. Anyway, I have finished work and I am gonna go and tidy up the house a little bit because I've got my mum coming over this evening. She's coming over to look at our wedding photos because we've had them back from the photographer, which is really cute. So we're gonna get a takeaway and go through the pictures together, and then she's gonna stay with us for a couple of days, which is gonna be really lovely actually because we've not caught up properly since the wedding. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with her. We'll probably go for a bit of a walk or something tomorrow because it's my day off. Don't know how much I'll film over the next few days, but I will hopefully have a nice reading update for you when I next speak to you because I'm planning to finish this book and hopefully I've started a new one, so that's very exciting. Anyway, I hope you've been enjoying this vlog so far, and yeah, I guess I'll speak to you next time I have free time to speak to you. Okay, I'm rambling now. I'll speak to you when I speak to you. Good morning everybody. I haven't caught up with you for a couple of days now, so sorry about that, but I was just busy spending time with my mum and we had such a nice time. She came over and we looked through our wedding photos, which was so cute. We got a takeaway, we went into town, did a little bit of Christmas shopping, and we just caught up, and it was just really lovely to spend some quality time with her because I've not seen her for a while. So that was so nice. And yeah, then I've just been working really, so I haven't, you know, had a whole load of time to pick up the camera, so I'm sorry about that. But this morning is my non-working day, so I thought I would have a quick chat with you whilst I make a cup of tea this morning and give you an update, because I have done quite a lot of reading, I think, since I last spoke to you. So I have now finished Near the Bone, and I have mostly really positive opinions about that book because it was the perfect book to pick up to pull me out of my reading slump, because it was just so pacey and it was impossible to put the book down. So I really loved it for that reason. I liked the snowy atmosphere, the fact that it was set on the mountain, but I did have a few sort of like gripes with it, shall we say. Mostly just I found the sort of climax of the story to be quite anticlimactic. There were quite a lot of things that I wish were explored a little bit further, and I just wish it went a little bit more intense with the horror. I also found like the ways some of our characters reacted to situations felt a little bit unrealistic. So obviously our main character is a survivor of domestic abuse, and she has spent pretty much her entire life being emotionally manipulated and physically abused by her husband. And I just felt like the way that she reacted, the way that she moved forwards with her life throughout the book felt a little bit unrealistic, and her sort of character arc felt a little bit rushed. I just wished it went into a bit more detail there. And I also found it a little bit annoying how the author used our main character's internal monologue to tell us things about the characters rather than letting us come to our own conclusions about things, because for example, our main character would say things like, oh, that got me thinking, perhaps so-and-so is acting in this way because they're blah, blah, blah. And she would sort of like tell us reasons why characters were acting the way they were, rather than letting us come to that conclusion ourselves. So that's just something that kind of bugged me a little tiny bit. But as I said, it is a really fun one. I would say go into this one thinking of it more like a thriller than a horror, and you're probably going to have a good time. And just be aware that there will be things that are left unresolved at the end, which normally doesn't bother me actually, but for some reason in this book I just wanted a bit more answers. And I guess I was just quite intrigued by this monster that lived on the mountain, and we didn't necessarily get a whole ton of answers about that. So yeah, mixed opinions, but generally pretty positive about that one. I did have a fun time, and as I said, I absolutely flew through it, so that was really fun. And then I also read and finished the non-fiction book, which is called A Fright Before Christmas, and that was so much fun. It was a nice easy one, nice short chapters, and just a fun way to find out a little bit more information about this season and kind of the darker history that surrounds winter solstice and Christmas and Yuletide and all of those things. I would say if you know quite a lot about those things already, you might not necessarily get much from this book because it was quite basic and very accessible, but for me it was just a fun way to dip my toes in and just to remind myself of some of those stories. And then I also started a new book, so I started The Whistling by Rebecca Netley, and I am now up to page 85, so I'm up to chapter 10. And I am really enjoying this one. This is a ghost story. The vibes in this book are perfect. It's gothic, it's historical, it has tropes in it, like for example our main character is a nanny who's going to look after a child who's been through a lot of trauma. She's lost her twin brother, her mum and her dad, and she's grieving, and she carries around this creepy doll, and there's strange things going on in the house, strange noises, it's quite decrepit, there's, you know, spots of mildew and mould around, and there's this strange whistling noise that can be heard sometimes, and our character starts to experience some creepy ghostly happenings, and you know, that's everything that you would expect from a ghosty gothic story, but I feel like it's done pretty well in this book. It's nice short chapters as well. The writing is not too flowery, but does still give enough atmosphere. I personally would prefer it if it lent a little bit more into the flowery writing style, but that's just a personal preference. But it is, yeah, very easy to sail through this one as well, so I'm having a fun time and think it's perfect for this winter. Anyway, I have been talking to you for ages about books, so I am now going to go off and drink this cup of tea and figure out what I'm going to do today. I think I'm just going to have a very chilled day and wrap some presents and just relax, so that's going to be so lovely. So yeah, I'm going to go and do that, and I will chat to you later. Oh, also an update on my little clay creations. I have started to paint my little froggy incense holder and it's starting to look cute. And I also made some little gonks out of clay as well, which was so fun to do. So yeah, I'll just show you because I'm excited about them. So here is my little frog incense holder. I feel like this green is perhaps a little brighter than I was sort of going for, so I might change his colour a little bit, but I'm pretty pleased with how he's turned out. I think it looks quite cute. And then I also made these gongs. How fun! So yeah, I made a big one and a small one, and I also made like a little tag, like a Christmas tag thing, that I'm going to put on the gift because I'm going to give these to some family members. So yeah, this has been so fun to do. So I've been having a great time doing that, and yeah, I think they look cute. So it's the next day and I wanted to give you a quick reading update. So I've read a little bit more of The Whistling. I'm now up to page 121, chapter 14, and yeah, my thoughts are kind of much the same really. I'm enjoying the atmosphere of this one. It's perfect for this time of year, and it's hard to talk about without giving too many spoilers, but what I really appreciate in this story is how it's very clear that our main character, the nanny, is forming a relationship with the child that she is looking after. She is getting to know her, getting to understand her, and I think that that is really well done considering that the child is actually mute. So obviously she's gone through a lot of trauma and a lot of grief, and so she doesn't speak, and so it's really interesting how the author has managed to paint their relationship and make us feel invested in their relationship despite the fact that there isn't any like verbal communication between the two of them. So I think that's really nicely done. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this one. But yes, I had started editing this video yesterday and have realised that it's actually quite long, so I think I'm probably going to end the video here. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. It's been so fun chatting to you about these books. I hope you're having a fantastic day, whatever it is that you are doing, and I'm wishing you all the best, and I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!